Hi, good evening. My name is Gabriela Sanchez. Today is Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. Today we're going to be doing Lab 3, which is Bacterial Enumeration, Dilutions, and Plate Count. I have most of my stuff already set up and ready to go. My Petri dishes are, I have 6 of them. And they're all labeled from 10-1 all the way to 10-6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I also have my test tubes labeled as well, 10-1 through 10-6. And I've already filled them with 2.5 mLs of distilled water. I prepped all of that ahead of time. I also mixed 2 tablespoons with a quarter of a tablespoon of yeast, and I've mixed that. I've let it sit for about 10 minutes. I've also disinfected my pipette, which I'm going to be using with for the experiment in itself. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mix the solution so that it could be evenly distributed. And this is the S. cerevisiae. So we're gonna mix that just so it's evenly distributed. Once I've done that, I'm gonna obtain my pipette, make sure that there isn't any water or liquid left in here, so I shake all of it out. Again, I have disinfected this already. I'm gonna obtain 0.25 mLs of the S. cerevisiae solution, and I'm gonna do put it in the vial labeled 10-1. So 0.25, and I'm gonna drop that in the first vial. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to get the test tube and make sure I'm gonna pipette the solution to make sure that everything is rinsed out of this pipette. Now, once I have done this, I'm going to obtain 0.25 of the solution that's in pipette 10-1. I'm gonna pipette 0.25 mLs, and it's difficult to see the little markings on here, so I do apologize. So 0.25, and now I'm gonna put that in, in test tube 2. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm gonna make sure what we're doing in essence is kind of diluting the S. cerevisiae. And we're gonna do this with each of the vials. So make sure that everything's out of here. And again, I'm gonna obtain 0.25 of this solution here and put it in vial number 3. So set this one down. Now we're going to vial number 3. Same thing. Make sure I get all of it out of the pipette. Rinse it out. And do the same with the next test tube. So now it goes into 4. again, making sure that everything is out of the pipette. And again, obtaining 0.25. And putting it in number 5. And same thing. This is going to be the last one. Making sure that everything is out of the pipette. And again, obtaining 0.25. And finally mixing it into my test tube number 6. Now that I have done this, same thing, make sure that all of it is out. And now I'm gonna rinse this with water. Okay, test tubes are down. So I've already diluted that solution. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I have 6 Petri dishes, like I mentioned, and they're all labeled 10-1, 10-2 through 10-6. Okay, so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna rinse this thoroughly and shake any excess water out of the pipette. Now what I'm going to do is I need to make sure that I have the corresponding Petri dish to the vial that I'm going to be working with. The first one is going to be 10-1. So I'm going to grab, or I'm going to obtain 10-1. You can see how murky and turbid this one looks. I'm gonna grab, we're gonna get some of the liquid on here. And let me get this out of the way so you could get a better visual. Move it over just a little bit. So I have Petri dish number 1. I'm going to pipette some solution from here, and I'm going to put 4 drops in Petri number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Rinse that again and cover this. Once I cover it, I'm gonna just move it just gently so it could kind of disperse the Cerevisiae product all over. This is Petri dish number 1. Moving along to dish number 2. Same thing. Rinse any excess liquid and 4 drops of this. Sorry, there's bubbles in there. I have to get those out. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 drops. I'll put this one back. Same thing, cover it. Move it around gently. That's number 2. Now I'm going to do this with each of this is Petri dish number 3. I prepped my agar about an hour prior to the actual experiment, so they're ready to go. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. I have to be very careful with those. I was having trouble keeping them in place. swirl these around a little bit. 3, Petri dish number 4, test tube number 4. Get my pipette, remove all the excess water, and 4 drops of this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cover this, put this one back, light swirl, set it aside. Dish number 5, looks a little confusing, but it's 5, with vial number 5. Remove all the excess liquid from the pipette. 4 drops of the solution, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll cover that. Now these are gonna, these inoculated cultures are going to remain with the lid on top for 12 hours. And once it's reached 12 hours, it's gonna be, we're gonna invert it for an additional 36 hours. 4 drops of this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cover this and replace this here. Okay, a light swirl. So I'm gonna keep my 6 peachy dishes in my incubation area. I'm gonna leave it with the lid side up for 12 hours, and then I'm gonna invert it for an additional 36 hours for incubation, and we'll see the results at that time. I am gonna discard the water and the Cerevisiae solution. I'm gonna discard that. I will wash the test tubes and disinfect everything else. I'm gonna wipe down my work area with 10% bleach and soak anything that needs to be discarded for about 2 hours. This concludes my lab 3, bacterial enumeration, dilutions, and plate count. Thank you.